okay, next video, and then 2 weeks away. I think obviously the interview is very powerful because it provokes really good questions. And instead of going off to a tangent, we have a nice structure of good content, benefit-rich material.
Have you ever seen that TV show called House?
I saw an episode of it.
The guy's a doctor. They deal with some very special medical cases that no one can.
Yeah, he's like the smartest man.
He's the smartest, arrogant, pisses everyone off in the world. So I was trying to come up with an analogy of what's the best way to get ideas and content. And this is something, when you said that, it triggered something for me. This is what works for me. Like, I'll have an idea and I'll have a point of view, and I can't express it or put it down sometimes because I'm just stuck with that idea or point of view. And it's a good idea or point of view, and I can't talk with it. But sometimes when I talk to my team or one person on my team, I'll say, hey, by the way, I just have this idea or point of view. And I'll ramble on. And then I'll ask a few questions and we'll talk back and forth, and all of a sudden that idea formulates. And it happens over and over. I could just have someone standing, you just sitting there looking and not saying a word, and I keep talking to you, and all of a sudden it just comes back. It just, idea. House. The reason I asked you why you like House is because House is the smartest man on the earth, but he cannot solve a problem alone.
Yeah.
One TV episode, no one on his team wanted to work with him. No one. They had enough. They all quit. Every single person quit. He had a special case. He couldn't deal with this case. So he was trying to figure out, how do I solve this problem? Because he can't solve the problem. He found the janitor. He taped the janitor to a chair. Duct taped the janitor to a chair. Put a signboard on the janitor and started talking complex medical things to the janitor. The janitor said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm confused. Janitor didn't say anything profound, but with him bouncing the things off the janitor, he immediately solved the problem. Right? And that episode resonated for me because I'm kind of like that. I didn't realize that because I get better with my ideas having an interview format or just bouncing it and talking it off, and all of a sudden the idea becomes good. And if I'm sitting alone and isolated in my little cave here at home working from my office, sometimes it's so difficult to come out or make your idea even a better idea and be passionate and excited and talk about it. It's just something that I found about myself that works for me. Therefore, I agree with you. It's a long way of saying I kind of like this format because the ideas are so much more better than me sitting down and kind of trying to write something and come up with it alone.
No, that's very powerful, Neil. It's true because it's literally Napoleon Hill's mastermind method. The sum is greater than the whole. So it's very simple. When you're discussing ideas in an interview format, it's like 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
I always say to you, steel sharpens steel. You need another person to communicate to bring out the best in you.
Yep.
Because this is the way that we're wired. I mean, I was reading this really fascinating book about creativity, and it said that there's 2 powerful things that improve your creativity. One, you need to have solitude. You have to have me time, whether that's reading, reflecting, listening to music, some type of solitude. And when you're in that solitude, you start generating ideas. 2, you need communication. You need to take all that gunk in your head and let it out. You need to express it. In the past, I used to be all about consuming, analysis paralysis, learning, all taking it in. But if you simply just consume, you're not letting those good ideas out. So it's consuming, creating, 50% taking in, 50% taking out. And the best way to create is by communicating. You talk to another person, you give them your point of view, they hear it, they give their point of view, and it just goes off in this amazing dialogue.
Yeah. It's amazing. You cannot be stuck when you're talking to someone who's a peer or better than you. When you're just talking about anything, you cannot be stuck or have writer's block. If you have someone good to help you open up. People say, I run short of ideas. It's not that they run short of ideas. They run short of bringing out the ideas and the best in them. And if they just have someone at their level, they can have a free-flow conversation like we're having right now, I think the quality of what they deliver will be so much more better because the ideas It gets better and better over time.
No, still, that's very, very powerful because it made me realize, like, okay, so, why are people so limited with creating videos or writing articles, right? So, answer that question. Let's say I'm so passionate
Right.
about fitness. Why can't I just, go and write, 5, 10 articles, do, 10 videos?
Right.
Why can't I just produce like a machine? So that's the question. Why can't trainers just produce content on demand?
Well, if you can ask my perspective on it, here's what I think. I think trainers are wired differently from every other person. I think trainers are very physical. They have a lot of physicality. A trainer is someone that needs to be out there working, pushing iron, getting clients going, motivation. That's how they bring out the best in themselves. That is if you're a good trainer. But trainers are very physical. Now we have this knowledge worker that's sitting behind a computer and typing out stuff. It's a new invention. Right? So now it's like taking a caged tiger and putting them in front of a computer. How's that going to work out for the tiger? It's like a trainer personality, and I could be wrong, most of the trainers, high velocity, testosterone driven, whether you're male or female, I mean this in the positive sense, physicality in them. And then you want to take this trainer.
They're authority figures.
Yeah, authority figures, but it's more than just authority figures because they're very physical people, right? And they have so much of energy. Now you're taking a trainer that's a tiger, and you're taking the trainer and you want them to become a deer, which is sitting and typing at the computer and becoming this product creator or information creator, right? And now there's a mismatch because people generally were either spending a lot of time writing, drawing, artists, and then you had a lot of people doing physical stuff back in the day. So now you're taking this trainer and you want them to become a writer, a producer, content. Something's wrong. The brain can't function because ask a trainer to do 40 push-ups, bang, they'll do it. Ask them to write 1 minute of content. It's like you're in a completely different zone. And then when you write, you become this other person. You become this person that's not a trainer. Like me, I'm not trying to brag or anything. I used to be an accountant. I can sit in front of my computer and I can bang out 10 articles, mate. No problem. Because I was trained to do that. Ask me to go into the gym and work out for an hour. We have a bit of a problem there. Okay? Now, I'm taking a trainer and I'm saying in order to grow a business, you have to become a writer, a blogger, video. You have to prove who you are to people so they connect with you. All of a sudden we got this mismatch. No trainer can sit down, very few trainers, can sit down and write these sales letters and the blog posts. Those guys crush it because they bridge the gap between physicality and writing and communication and put it together. An easy transition for a trainer to make is to do what we're doing right now. Because we can be physical with our energy and create. How hard is it for us to create right now, AJ?
It's effortless.
How hard, if I say, AJ, go write a blog post for me right now on the top trend for 2013. How easy it is going to be for you to do that?
It would take me a lot longer. It would take a lot more mind games, focus. I would have to, I would procrastinate, definitely.
Why? Because it's not in your nature to do that. You're a tiger. You're a trainer. You have physicality. I'm asking you to write blog posts. It's crazy. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to take trainers out of their natural environment, which are the hunters, the lions, the king of the jungle, and we want them to become accountants and attorneys and book writers. It's not going to happen. That's why trainers struggle. Here's the trick. Become physical in your writing. When I say become physical in your writing, become physical in your communication. Do more video if that's who you are. If you're shy to do video, do an interview, because an interview can bring out the best in you and people can see how passionate and physical we are right now. And now, content is a dream. Number 2, when your clients see this, you remain who you are and you don't become something else. Because a lot of trainers struggle because when they write, they become someone else, and they can't write, therefore they outsource the communication, and no one takes action because my stuff don't work. I know it sounds too simplistic, but it took me a long time to figure this thing out. And I'm so glad you asked the question, because I've been thinking about it forever. Why don't fitness trainers, do what they want to do? They're becoming someone else that they're not. I don't know if my perception's even right, or if it even makes sense in terms of how to get more marketing done.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Neil, like I think one of the big things is really, for me personally, when I was making the transition to writing my first piece of content, writing the copy for my website, all these things, it was like my brain had to take a big shift.
Right.
Because all of a sudden, I had to think about, is this persuasive? Am I being funny? Do I come off as being educated? Am I coming off like a meathead? Like all these thinking, it limited me tremendously. And I used to always think that, let's say, if you're going to put copy on a postcard, it has to be perfect copy. Or if I'm going to invest $1,000 to send this out, it's got to be scientifically proven to bring in leads. And that would limit me because I would hesitate, I would fear certain words, and then once I had this big eye-opening experience, it changed the way that I created content, that I expressed myself. And it was this simple thing that as a trainer, I am so passionate.
Mm-hmm.
Trainers, boot camp teachers, any kind of physical person, even a dance instructor, they have this powerful passion within them. They're very positive people. They're very empowering. You have to be a certain type of way to motivate somebody to get up off their lazy butts and move. So taking that same passion, that same motivation, and just expressing yourself is going to be 10 times better than any type of persuasive writing or trying to be funny or trying to be intellectual. Passion is the most powerful marketing. And if you capture that passion, whether it's an interview with another trainer, it's a video, the best passion comes out when I'm talking to my clients. My client says to me, hey AJ, how do I start my cravings at night? And that moment, I just go off. I just flow with information. So finding out when you can flow, what makes you flow. The same thing whenever I talk to you, Neil, I just flow with ideas. I mean, I can speak to you and it feels like it's like 5 minutes, but an hour can pass by because I'm just so passionate about what I'm talking about.
Right.
While I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking about my grammar. Am I using a $10 word? Am I being persuasive? Am I, trying to have an ulterior motive to this conversation? No, I'm just letting it out. And that's a flow. That's me. I'm being myself. It's the same thing when people are dancing, They always say, dance like nobody's watching. When a person's at home, they're dancing the best because they're passionate. They're in the mood. The music is just moving them. But if you put that same person in a public place where no alcohol, all of a sudden they're thinking about how they look. They're thinking about their moves. Am I dancing good? Am I on the rhythm? I mean, when you're at home by yourself, you're not thinking about that. Same thing. When you're talking to your friend, you're just letting yourself be as you are. You're being funny, you're being smart, because you just feel very confident. That's your comfort zone. It's the same thing. If a person is forced to have that same conversation, go up on a podium, deliver to people they don't know, they're not going to be a percentage of themselves. So the key is seeing what makes you flow, what makes you comfortable, what makes you feel like you're yourself, like you don't give a shit what anybody thinks, and capture that passion and deliver it in a modality, whether it's video, whether it's an audio interview, whether it's your writing, whether it's public speaking. What modality expresses that passion the best? And do that.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better. That was awesome.